6. And SDG 6 is next to SDG 5. And SDG 5 is all about gender equality. So the two sit side by side. The challenge is bringing them together. The challenge is really making a difference through ensuring that there is a connection between gender equality, which is a central part of the development landscape, achieving economic growth, is a key objective of the SDGs. So our presentation is really about this sort of bringing together of those two SDGs and thinking about how it can help support the Nile Basin Initiative in particular in delivering some of its key objectives and its key programs. So our presentation is on opportunities for building gender into sound basin planning on land and water investments in the Nile Basin. And as Wabala mentioned, I think it was yesterday, we've had some early discussions with the NBI about doing this together. So we're kind of describing where we're trying to go. So, we anticipate plenty of feedback. Oops, that doesn't help, is it? Which one is it? Okay. So why is this so important? Well, we heard also from Dr. Salmon that Dublin made a very strong case. One of the 4 principles was all about gender and gender equality. In those days, they talked about women only. Women play a central part in the provision, management, and safeguarding of water. So after Dublin, it moved into this kind of mainstreaming. How do you take this idea, this principle, into water management processes? And now we have the SDGs. So we have 5 and 6, and we have this, I think, real international recognition that it's not just about mainstreaming and gender is important because of equality, but it's also important because it's central to the whole challenge of economic growth. So it's seen now as something much more central to the wider development agenda. It's a moral imperative, in other words, but it's also a development challenge. And in the Nile Basin, where, as we've heard, is very important from many different perspectives, you have all sorts of issues. So you have, I hear about the change in the flood regime of the Nile and the riverine lands in Sudan, and I immediately think in my head, that will have livelihood impacts along the river, and those impacts will have all sorts of important gender and gender equality dimensions. Likewise, in the Delta of Egypt, changes to the agricultural system according to different water regimes will have all sorts of impacts at a gender level within that society in that part of Egypt. So, enormously important issues are arising. Well, the NBI has a great gender strategy. Most countries also have their national gender strategies, and at a project level, as you'll see, there's often recognition of gender and the need to build gender into project planning. The challenge is doing it. So the NBI strategy really talks very clearly about the need to address gender equalities, building on the African Union Declaration on Gender Equality in Africa, particularly because inequalities are recognized as real drivers of inefficiencies in labour allocation at a household level. So economic inefficiency is built into gender inequality. So if you're planning and developing investments, and those investments have certain outcomes and achievements attached, and you don't get gender engaged in that process effectively, gender equality, you can end up tripping over your failures, in a sense, to achieve your larger outcomes. The NBI strategy really talks, therefore, about improving opportunities for programs and projects to mainstream gender, but also to include project responsiveness to gender issues and aligning a wider set of policies, whether it's on climate change or water quality or whatever, with the need to be gender equal, gender neutral, gender sensitive in your approach. So what we're trying to do here is to help bring all of this together. So we've focused a little bit on the Barakobo, because the Barakobo sub-basin is an important project within the NBI in the Eastern Nile Subsidiary Action Programme. The Multi-Purpose Water Resource Development Project talks about gender and social equity considerations being mainstreamed into the implementation of the project. So that's not an unusual statement for a project appraisal document. So many of these documents have those kind of statements in them. The challenge is often taking the statement into action, applying it, the practice of actually achieving it. Because what they'd like to do, many different things, stakeholder involvement, women and representatives in different institutions involved, infrastructure design, including equitable access to services, whether it's irrigation, or whether it's water supply, or sanitation, or any of those areas. An institutional framework that enables the voice, the multi-stakeholder approach, if you like, to be brought into that basin planning process. And that there will be a focus on specific impacts of the work. So there are particularly vulnerable groups, there are female-headed households, all sorts of areas where the specific work in that particular sub-basin where the borough covers needs to have a way of taking gender into the programming and into the project design. And our point here really is to say, well, okay, if you take this circle from the ideals needing to move to practical solutions through systematically mapping gender-related data, and then assimilating that and combining it with the project planning process, building it into decision-making and monitoring and evaluation, you can really help build the strategy document there on the right-hand side from 2012 into the basin planning process. And at this point, I'll hand over to my colleague, Liza Debevec.
So Alan mentioned the importance of mapping gender data in order to help us with this kind of work. IWMI has been working since 2014 on a project called 4 Basin Gender Profiles, and the 4 basins are the Nile, the Volta, the Nicol, and the Ganges. So we're looking at the Nile here. Basically trying to look at, trying to provide an evidence base for analysis of gender disparities and the implications that this has on wider issues for basin development. Now, the tool we've developed is open source. It's presenting gender disaggregated data with focus on water and land. And of course, gender disaggregated data were available because there's still a lot of gaps. A lot of organizations, a lot of research is not done, is not focusing on collecting gender, sex disaggregated data. But by creating these maps, we're providing information for potential users who could be policymakers, basin authorities, researchers, civil society, planners, and implementers. So basically, for us, all of you in this room, in a way, are potential users, but you are also our partners in providing this data for us so that we can make better maps in the future. The maps identify gender-related possible research for development needs, so what are the gaps, what topics have not been explored in the research. And they're not an end in itself, but they're a tool for interpretation and analysis. So you can take these maps, look at them and see what you want to do with them. A key issue is that, or a key thing here is that these maps can be improved if we get better data. So if you have sex disaggregated data that you're willing to share with us, we can easily improve our maps, and so that's where the cooperation part comes. This is an example of such a map. So I showed you on the previous slide, there's a link to the website which is active, so you can look at it. This is an example from the Nile, looking at data on stunting among children. You can zoom in on the different district areas to get more detailed information, and the data can be interpreted in relation to wider social development. So issues that are key, like challenges of gender division of labor. We know that women often bear important load of agricultural work that are maybe not recognized, access to land, access to decision making in relation to nutrition, but also in water users associations. The important thing that maps also help us with is identification of data gaps, which are still quite big, like I said. They can support identification of investment options and also kind of impact that social development can have on gender. And finally, they are giving us the chance to overlay data and build a composite index. When we look at the maps online, you will see that we have separate maps for specific issues, but then we also have composite maps showing the whole region with the overlaid data for different issues. So now we can have
One minute. Can't hear you.
Microphone.
Speak loud also.
I have informed you about the importance of gender and women empowerment in the development agenda.
I think the
Sorry, we can't hear.
microphone.
How about now? I have informed you about the importance of women empowerment and gender equality in the development agenda. And Liza has told you about the 4 Basic Gender Profile Project. And I'll be talking about how IWMI is planning to collaborate with NBI, focusing on the power of global basic. As you all know, NBI does planning at the basic level, and IWMI is working on gender with its 4 Basic Gender Profile Project. So the way we are hoping to collaborate with NBI is in the following 3 main pillars. And the first one is in helping NBI develop a strategic overview of basic gender and development challenges. And this could mean divine barriers and investment opportunities, and also identifying institutional arrangements and executive outcomes. And the other area that we are planning to collaborate with them is on supporting operational application of the gender profiles within decision making and providing them protocols for doing so at the project level. And the third area that we are planning to collaborate with them is in socio-economic gender profiling or mapping sheets that could accompany infrastructure project identification. Yes, these 3 components fit into the project documents of the Biovacuum project, because the first component that they have ABM has in the project document is they are planning to develop an integrated water resource management and development plan for the South Basin. And within that, they will be doing some assessments, including the strategic, social, and environmental assessment, and we will be supporting them on that, particularly focusing on the gender. And the other component that they have is they will be doing feasibility study for the different water projects, including hydropower, irrigation, water supply, navigation, flood control, and others. And the third component that we find from their project document is identification of medium and long-term infrastructure projects, and we are supporting them to make it more gender sensitive. So, when I summarize what I've already presented, the way forward, or the way we are looking forward to work with NBI are in the following ways. One is establishing potential uses and entry points for the gender profile, and the second is investing application and linkage to decision making in public environment, and the third is in reviewing and refining tools and procedures with social development and market contexts, and the other is write up and recapping results in a practical form. And the other is, and the most important one, is to contribute to the next 10-year strategic document and basin development planning process at the basin level. Thank you.
Thank you very